Most people in life are bad at most things. We're all good at a few things, and we all have one thing about us that makes us special, that makes us different, that makes us unique. It's our superpower.
Welcome to Engage Presents. I'm Engage co-founder and president Jake Olson. In this interview series, I ask Engage talent the most common questions we hear from event planners to help you get to know them and their stories in 15 minutes or less. Thanks for listening. Welcome to another episode of Engage Presents. I'm Engage President Jake Olson. Alongside me today, a friend, Adam Mendler. Adam is a leadership expert. He even teaches classes, a professor on it. So definitely someone you want to talk to about leadership. He is the host of a 30-minute mentor. Adam, thank you so much for joining us today.
Hey, Jake, thanks for having me, man. Excited to be here with you. Excited to be here with your audience. Can't wait, man.
Absolutely. So you are usually in my position. You again, through your show, interview a lot of leaders, 500 or more top leaders in this world. I want to know, what's the most surprising lesson you've learned through those interviews?
Something that surprised me a lot, and it's been a while since I started doing this, so I can't say I'm surprised anymore, but certainly from the time I started until now, surprised by how humble the most successful people in America are.
Hmm.
And when we think about people who have reached the pinnacle of success, regardless of what they've pursued, whether we're talking about Fortune 500 CEOs, Hall of Fame athletes, Olympic gold medalists, four-star generals, a word that we might not often think about is humility, but something that I've learned is humility is essential to success and essential to successful leadership.
That is actually very surprising, and especially as we kind of talk about this next question, um, you know, really understanding what humility means. It's not this, selflessness, yes, but it's not, a decrease in self-value. So you speak a lot about self leadership, and how does that influence our abilities to lead others?
Great question and great topic. And Jake, you make a great point, which is humility isn't necessarily thinking of yourself less, but it's thinking about yourself less
Yeah.
and thinking more about how you can impact others. And I did an interview recently, something that the leader who I interviewed said was really interesting. We all have ego, but it's important to not pretend like we don't have ego, but understand that we have ego and check it.
Mhm.
Check our ego at the door. And the best leaders do that. The best leaders accept that we all care, we all have that, but we don't allow that to impact how we lead. On the contrary, leadership is about bringing out the best in others. Leadership is about helping the people around you get to their best selves. Something that I share a lot in keynotes that I give is that if you don't fundamentally love people, if you're not a leader who is caring, who is empathetic, and who deeply loves other human beings, you're not going to be successful as a leader. So much of this fundamentally comes down to that.
Yeah, and you're kind of starting to get into what my next question is you talk about a leadership superpower, and you can kind of describe what that is through what you're talking about, but what is it, and how do we kind of tap into our own?
Ah, Jake, I love this. I love this topic, and we could spend all day talking about this. Most people in life are bad at most things. We're all good at a few things, and we all have one thing about us that makes us special, that makes us different, that makes us unique. It's our superpower. And the more quickly you can figure out what it is about you that makes you special, that makes you different, that makes you unique, the more successful you'll be in business, the more successful you'll be in life, the more successful you'll be as a leader. And what I try to do in the talks that I give, what I try to do in all of my work is help people uncover and unleash their unique leadership superpower. We all have that special something. there's a misconception that you there's a misconception that Michael Jordan is special, Tom Brady is special, Barack Obama is special, and the rest of us, we're maybe not all that special. The reality is, we are all special, and we all have that special something within us. And it's ultimately on us to uncover and unleash that. And it's on us as leaders to help uncover and unleash the leadership superpowers of the people who we lead, influence, and impact. So, this is a huge topic and a topic I love talking about.
And I feel like once you do that with individuals, then you can really start building powerful teams where you have a diverse, group of different superpowers, if you will.
Jake, right on the money, 100%. And when you bring that up, there's a misconception out there that, and I know this is a little bit of a controversial topic today, but when you hear the word diversity, all of a sudden, especially in today's climate, you take a little bit of a step back. And but what does diversity really mean? Diversity is about bringing in people who are different than you, bringing in people who can complement you, bringing in people who can help you get to a place that you're not going to get to by surrounding yourself with other people who see the world the same way that you see the world, who have the same background as you. Homogenous teams or losing teams. When you think about the winning USC football teams that you played for, if every player on your team was a quarterback, you guys wouldn't have been any good. If every player on your team was a running back, you wouldn't have been any good. If every player on your team was an offensive lineman, you wouldn't have been any good. And in any team, in any organization, it's ultimately about bringing in diverse perspectives, bringing in people who can complement each other and understanding what it is about you that makes you special, understanding what it is about you that makes you unique, looking at every person as a person
Hmm.
is such an important element of making that happen.
That's a beautiful way to put shine light on diversity in that way. That's the way that I wish we all saw it, and it is a beautiful thing when you tap into that and that version of it. And so, very good. Let's kind of switch topics now. A lot of people come to us looking for leadership speakers to talk about burnout or disengagement from their teams at their organization. Kind of how can you lead a team that is suffering from either or both of those things?
Yeah, wow, what a big topic. And I can tell you, Jake, this is something that is not academic to me, and it's not academic to most people. Just about everyone out there has experienced burnout at some point in their careers. Just about everyone has experienced disengagement at some point in their careers. In the talks that I give, I share some of my journey, including why I do what I do. And ultimately, that's a big part of productivity. Ultimately, that's a big part of success is getting to a place where you understand the why, you understand the why behind what you're doing and bringing that intentionality to what you do every day. I talk a lot about a framework for success, not only in my keynotes, but in my podcasts. I'm a big believer that everyone needs to check three boxes. Number one, you've got to do something that you love. Number two, you've got to do something that you're great at. Number three, you've got to do something that allows you to make a positive impact in the lives of others. And if you're checking all three of those boxes, you can wake up first thing in the morning and you're going to be fired up. You're going to be ready to get at it. You're going to be, man, pumped up, ready to go, amped up, like halftime, listening to Pete Carroll rallying you guys in the locker room. And if you're not checking those three boxes, Think about one of those experiences. It's 1 o'clock in the afternoon and you're dead tired. You're exhausted from doing what? From not working, from working too hard, or from not checking those three boxes. So that's a really big part of it. And taking it a step further, as a leader, think about the people who you're leading. Are they checking those three boxes? Because if they are, there's a pretty good chance that they're highly productive day in and day out. And if they're not, there's a pretty good chance that they're quiet quitting. There's a pretty good chance that worried about turnover, they're one of the people that are going to be turning over pretty soon. So understanding the variables that go into why people show up fired up versus why people show up disengaged allows you as a leader to create a culture and create an environment and build teams and ultimately build organizations that fuel success and high performance day in and day out.
I love that. What powerful three boxes, and we can all check those, man. What a world we'd be in. So kind of lastly here, again, you're a professor, you speak to students, but you obviously speak to a lot of different audiences and in different industries through your career. Walk us through how you can tailor kind of your leadership message and insights based on the audience that's in front of you.
Yeah, great question, Jake, and thank you for asking it. I speak to a pretty wide range of audiences. So I speak to three different types of audiences, at least that's how I classify it for people who I speak to. One group of audiences I speak to is a group that I define as emerging leaders. Emerging leaders, I define pretty broadly, but they can be people who are early to mid career professionals. They could be students, they could be people who are in their first jobs, they could be people who are in their 20s or 30s. But the common denominator is that they're all trying to take that next step on the journey. They're all trying to rise within their careers. And for that audience, the message and the content is really focused around just that. How do you unlock your leadership superpower? How do you unlock your leadership potential? How do you rise within your career? What is success? And how do you attain success? So it's about trying to get to that place. A second group that I speak to is a group that isn't necessarily striving to advance in their career. They've pretty much advanced in their careers. They're senior executives, oftentimes they're in the C-suite, CEOs, they're leaders at organizations. And they're focused on a totally different set of issues. What they're focused on are issues around people, leadership, management, recruiting, retaining, motivating talent. And what I talk to them about is how to lead in today's landscape. How are the most successful leaders leading? What can you learn from them? And the third group that I speak to is a group that consists of groups 1 and group 2, where it could be an entire company in the same room, and you have someone who's 20 in one side of the room, and you have the CEO of the company in the other side of the room. I do a lot of work with associations where you have a really broad, diverse set of people sitting in that same room together. And for that third group, I'm really hitting on a lot of the same themes, but doing it in a way that really brings everyone in and is able to connect with people who are both starting out and at the very top, as well as everyone in between.
Thank you, Adam, for letting us be a part of that. If you want to learn more about Adam or book him, you can visit letsengage.com and check out his profile there and book him there. Adam, we appreciate what you do. We appreciate the impact you make in the audience's life and allowing us to help you do that and check those boxes. So thank you, Adam, for your time, and please stay tuned for more Engage Presents.